All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now, we're going to talk Andre Drummond here today. If you're a Laker fan, I'm sorry, this is not going to be great. Andre Drummond's look good. He's looking good on the Lakers. Anthony Davis made his return to the Lakers, and he looks good as well. Well, he didn't look good right away, but he finally had a good game, and it looks like he is healthy. So the Los Angeles Lakers, right now, they are the 5th seed. They have a 2.5 game lead over the Mavericks. Honestly, I think that they just stick at the 5 seed, which I think personally is probably their best case scenario if they want to advance. I mean, I think it's a solid. I think it's a solid path is what I'm trying to get at, and that's essentially just because you'll play the Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray. They still are good. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've won a couple in a row. They're still a solid team. They're 4 games behind first place. They're 4 games behind first place. They're just 2 games behind the Clippers at the 3 seed. With about 10 or so games left, you never know, but if you ask me, I think the top 6 are pretty much going to stay. Maybe if the Mavs go on a losing streak and the Trailblazers go on a winning streak. But I think for the most part, the top 6 are already determined, or at least the top 5. So that would have the Lakers playing the Nuggets, like I said, first round. And then most likely the Utah Jazz in the second round. And, we kind of know Utah Jazz's track record. They haven't really done anything ever in the last few years after just being one of the best regular season teams that I've ever watched. Then you got the Suns, you got the Clippers. Now, I know I have Suns subscribers and I know I have Clippers subscribers, so I don't want to, call the Flippers, but I also don't want to go at Chris Paul for never advancing to the finals, but that kind of tells you my thoughts on the Suns and the Clippers. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope Chris Paul is healthy this year for games 6 and 7 of the Western Conference Finals if they do make it, if the Suns do make it. And then I hope the Flippers, I hope the Flippers prove me wrong. I hope Kawhi proves me. I hope Paul George can prove me wrong, not Kawhi Leonard. I hope Paul George can prove me wrong. I hope their whole team can just kind of prove me wrong, that they're not just, and I know a lot of teams fall into late game ISOs because you want your best 2 players to have the ball and to be shooting the hoop. But still, man, I think it's like the whole fourth quarter I'm just watching Paul George and Kawhi Leonard just kind of ISO. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So the Clippers, we'll see. I'm sorry, Clippers fans. I love the Clippers, but we'll see. So the Lakers, they're still my favorite. I still got the Lake Show going all the way. But the issue with the Lakers is Andre Drummond. Actually, the issue they kind of have just in general is since they traded for since they traded for Schroeder in the offseason, they also acquired his full bird rights. They don't have that luxury with Drummond and Trez. So with Trez, you have a really tricky situation here because I would say it's almost certain he's going to opt out of this second year because it's like less than $10 million. And I know the Hornets were willing to pay him. Honestly, the best, and I think this is a fact, I'm 100% sure, the highest salary Trez can get next season for the Lakers is $11.1 million. So if you ask me, because I know the Knicks and the Hornets are interested in both Trez, they're interested in both Drummond. These are teams who are willing and prepared to pay both of those 2 players $20 million a year. That's something that the Lakers cannot do. So my fear for the Lakers, and it's not that big of a fear because, it's not my team, but if I'm the Lakers, my big fear is that the good news is actually, first up, before I say this, is that Andre Drummond, he chose the Lakers. A ton of other teams wanted him, but he chose the Lakers, so that's good. And then winning takes care of everything. I think if they won it again this year, I think Drummond or Trez. I think at least, personally, I think both of them would come back, but I think one of them would at least for sure come back. Probably, honestly, actually, I'm not sure. I just would want, it's tough because of their specific situations, is neither of them won the ring last year. So it's like, I would want to get that third ring if I'm both of those two players, but I just am thinking like, they didn't even really contribute. They didn't contribute to the first ring, so no disrespect. I'm just saying. I could easily see the Knicks offering Drummond, Hornets offering Trez. Say the Lakers don't even win it all this year. I think this has an even more probability of this happening. I think they lose them both. I mean, I honestly, I just think I think they lose them both. It's... Sorry, there's a fire hydrant. What's that? Ambulance driving around here in Chicago. But, it's like a 1-year deal for Drummond at $9.5 million, which would let him get like $16 million the year after that, which I mean, that just doesn't, if I'm Andre Drummond, I don't think that would be enough to get me to go there. You know what I'm saying? If I've got the Knicks on my line, and the Knicks have R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley and Julius Randle, and they have a solid team. I mean, and they're offering me $10 million more at least. I'm probably going to pick the Knicks. But that's just me. I don't know how desperately, because Drummond's only 27. So I don't know how desperately he really, if he just wants to be on a better team, or if he is like trying at this point at only 27, he wants to win a ring, and that's the only thing he has on his mind. He'll take the pay cuts, he'll take the minute cuts, he'll do whatever he has to do just to get that ring. I don't know what point in his career he's at. If he was like that, that would be unbelievable, because then he would be on the Lakers next season. So with Andre Drummond, it's really tricky because Trez kind of Schroeder, like all these dudes just kind of complicate it. It's going to be really tough. The competing teams, like the Knicks, like the Hornets, they might test their patience and just give them a huge payday, and that might just be the end. So. Who knows? I'm curious what you guys think. If you guys think Andre Drummond will be back in a Laker uniform next season. If you think it has any impact if you think this season has any impact on his decision, let me know. I would believe the answer is yes, but honestly, I can't really pick a side on, I don't really know. So hit the like button, hit that sub button. Peace.